What if your fortune for 2026 doesn't wait in a chart or a paycheck, but sits quietly in your wallet in a single ancient coin? In Feng Shui, these ancient coins aren't just symbols of wealth, they're channels of living energy. Every mark, every edge softened by time carries intention, the trace of work done, trust given, blessings passed on. Along the Silk Road, traders called them heaven meeting earth, the circle and the square holding balance between flow and foundation. In ancient Rome, a denarius moved from soldier to merchant to widow, recording more than transactions. It recorded human faith in exchange. When you hold one today, you're touching that same rhythm, the quiet current of giving and receiving that never stopped moving. These ancient coins for 2026 remind us that prosperity isn't found, it's remembered. 3 gentle steps: connect, cleanse, integrate. Let this pocket prosperity reawaken the flow within your life. Comment below, I open my palms to abundance in 2026. Because ancient coins and Feng Shui Pocket Prosperity 2026 begins with a single touch. Yours. Part 1. Beyond Gold, Unlocking Hidden Value. Now imagine this. A single coin, small enough to rest in your palm, carrying the prosperity of centuries. Its rim is softened by youth, its face is dim with age, yet it seems to hold a steady note, as if continuity itself were pressed into metal. What if abundance was never lost, only forgotten in the stories stamped on its surface? 2,000 years ago, along the Silk Road, bronze coins with square centers changed hands beneath sun-hot dust and bell-loud caravan bells. The square within the circle spoke quietly of heaven and earth in balance, reminding traders that true gain required harmony, not haste. In another world, a Roman denarius flashed like a shard of light as it moved from soldier to merchant, from the emperor's mint to a widow's open palm. Ledgers dried, seal wax cooled, and one coin recorded 3 lives before dusk. Each exchange left more than fingerprints. It left intention, work done, trust given, hope carried forward. So when we study an ancient coin today, we're not just seeing metal, we're seeing motion made visible, the rhythm of giving and receiving inscribed into a thing that lasts. Prosperity, in this older language, wasn't possession, it was participation. Feng Shui names this qi continuity, the living current that lingers in objects shaped by purpose and passed through many hands. Environmental psychologists observe something similar. Objects absorb emotion and meaning. A wedding ring, a father's watch, a market-worn coin, each holds the residue of how it was used and what it represented. If value were only numbers, why do heirlooms steady the hand while balances do not? Perhaps that is why certain artifacts feel almost warm. They are not merely reminders of history, but of belonging, proof that energy once set in motion rarely stops. We sense in them the comfort of a current we can rejoin. Maybe the real lesson isn't hidden in wealth itself, but in the way it moves. What if prosperity isn't something you chase, but something you step back into, like a river after too long on dry ground? So tonight, before you check your balance, stop for one breath. Recall the chain of exchanges that brought you here, the hands, the trust, the small generosities that never made a receipt. Somewhere in that unseen circulation, abundance is still traveling, waiting to be noticed. In the next part, we'll read the coin's secret language. Dragons, emperors, and marks that once turned belief into power. Part 2. The Alchemy of Antiquity, Symbolism and Energy. Every ancient coin carries a code, a quiet language of dragons, rulers, and forgotten gods. Tilt one under a lamp and the lines begin to move, not literally, but in the way meaning rises from metal. These marks aren't decoration, they are vibration, belief given shape. For centuries, engraving was more than craft. It was composition, circles and squares, wings and scales, geometry arranged to say something the voice could not. A coiled dragon completed the circle of heaven. A phoenix opened space for renewal. The tortoise laid down the promise of longevity. In night-lit workshops, dyes cooled on stone, while foremen logged fresh strikes, economy and intention braided into ledgers. Historians note that courts sometimes ordered auspicious inscriptions before campaigns or harvests, trusting symbols to steady public confidence. Across empires, the pattern repeats. What is made with purpose tends to carry the frequency of that purpose. Modern psychology offers a parallel. Focused intention redirects attention, and attention over time reshapes experience. The brain learns what it rehearses, culture does too. Maybe that's why these designs still reach us. The dragon was not just myth, it was motion. The phoenix was not fantasy, it was transformation. Each emblem invited the holder into a larger pattern, a reminder that creation responds to consciousness. Yet symbols can also ring hollow. Stamp them without belief, and the metal is only metal. Meaning requires attention, the way music requires a listener. Imagine a coin in your hand now. The rim is rough where 1,000 thumbs once paused. The field is darkened, but a single ridge catches light like a thin breath. You're touching a record of human weather, hope, fear, gratitude, resolve, pressed into alloy and carried across markets, borders, lifetimes. That current hasn't vanished. It slows when ignored and strengthens when seen. Perhaps this is the real alchemy, understanding that significance can outlast shine. Even as surfaces dull, intention endures. And when awareness returns, prosperity remembers the path it once traveled. Because energy is not archived in the past. It waits in objects, in choices, in the small act of noticing. A coin becomes a sentence you can still read if you give it the light. In the next part, we'll move from meaning to proximity, how ancient flow sits beside modern work and ordinary days, so the smallest object can become again a quiet teacher of abundance. Part 3. Curating your coin collection for prosperity. We tidy our lives with auto-renewals and paperless ledgers. Receipts vanish into clouds no one reads. Yet the truest sense of abundance often hides in something older and quieter. An object that fits in your hand. A fragment of history that still seems to breathe. Across the world, people are rediscovering the ancient coin. Not as a relic, but as a mirror of energy. Historians sometimes call them living artifacts because each piece carries traces of intent. Trade agreed to, help extended, hopes carried forward. For centuries, these small discs connected strangers, farmer to merchant, ruler to traveler, bound by the simple act of exchange. Prosperity was less possession than participation. Collectors today describe a similar recognition. Some speak of warmth in the palm, others of a calm that settles when a certain coin rests between the fingers. Dealers have a phrase for it, hand memory, the way edges wear where thumbs tended to pause. A numismatist once said, "The real treasure isn't the coin, it's the continuity." Perhaps that's true. Abundance is never static. It's the motion between giving and receiving, the rhythm of holding and letting go. Imagine a weekend market. The vendor slides a velvet tray across polished wood. 12 small suns blink as the coins catch light. You hear the soft clink, as thin as a bell struck far away. Faces are half faded, legends worn to a murmur. You pick one up. For a moment, the room slows. It isn't beauty that moves you, but presence, the sense that countless lives have trusted this weight. That quiet recognition is where the relationship begins. Not ownership, not even collecting. Simply remembering that prosperity was always meant to circulate, like breath. The coin doesn't create the flow. It reminds you to notice it. Maybe that's why we keep objects that feel alive, not for what they're worth, but for what they awaken. When something carries intention, it carries relationship. And when we meet it with attention, the relationship becomes reciprocal, meaning for meaning, steadiness for care. So begin not with acquisition, but with attention. Let your eye linger on what draws you. Listen for the piece that steadies your hand. Ask silently, what story returns when I touch this? The answer won't be loud. It arrives the way light settles on metal, gradually, and then all at once. We've seen how these coins were shaped by belief, but what happens when belief meets your daily life? That's where the real transformation begins. Part 4. Real-world activation. Integrating coins into your life. We often imagine wealth as a point on the horizon, a promotion, a number in the bank, a someday that keeps stepping back. The ancients read it differently. Prosperity was not a finish line, but a rhythm, a conversation between what you value and what you honor, day after day. Look around any home that feels alive. There's a pattern you can't quite name. Objects placed with intention. Air that seems to move more easily. In older Chinese households, a few coins might rest near the entry or in a family chest. Not to bait luck, but to remind everyone that gratitude keeps the current from thinning. Forget to notice what already moves through your hands, and the current goes quiet. Today, many find that simply being near certain objects changes how they read effort and reward. An old merchant's coin on a desk becomes a quiet mentor. Its worn edge says prosperity has texture. Its patina says it takes time. It carries proof that small, honest exchanges can build entire worlds. Maybe that's why the touch feels steadying. You're meeting something that moved through real lives, through sweat and barter, through need answered by generosity. It reframes success as participation in a larger cycle, giving and receiving, earning and returning, motion rather than hoarding. And perhaps as belief begins to meet ordinary moments, the first coffee, the workday's pivot, the quiet lamp in evening, you'll notice prosperity isn't waiting somewhere else. It is already moving where attention turns into presence. In the next part, we'll look beyond the solitary desk and the private room to the communities where this wisdom gathers, and how an ancient rhythm is teaching a modern world to breathe in balance again.
Part 5. The Future of Ancient Wealth, Collecting and Community. In every generation, a few people quietly rediscover what others have set aside. Meaning doesn't fade with time, and energy, once awakened, rarely disappears. The same current is moving now around ancient coins. What once looked like a niche for historians is becoming something deeper, a movement of remembrance. Across cities and time zones, small circles are forming. Collectors, artists, Feng Shui students, even economists who study trust. They gather in library back rooms and weekend markets, in message boards that hum after midnight. A coin passes from hand to hand. The air smells of paper and brass. They trade stories more than artifacts. What starts as curiosity becomes connection between past and present, belief and daily life. One collector in London puts it plainly, "When I hold these, I stop rushing. I remember that wealth has a rhythm." Another began gifting small coins to friends, not as investments, but as blessings. Over time, those gestures stitched a quiet network of goodwill. The return was not profit, but presence. Maybe that's why this revival feels different. It doesn't race, it returns. The act of collecting becomes a meditation on continuity, a way to join a conversation that started long before us and will continue after we're gone. A coin on the table is no longer the object. It is the punctuation, the pause that lets a shared sentence breathe. And somewhere in that conversation, a clearer meaning of wealth begins to form. Prosperity isn't what you hold, it's what you keep in motion, what you honor, what you share, what you help endure. So as this journey circles home, remember, the coin is a symbol. The treasure is the awareness it awakens. That flow, gratitude, and connection remain the truest currencies of all. Stay with us through the end. We'll gather everything you've heard into a simple, 3-step heart wisdom guide. A calm way to begin and a gentle way to continue together. Heart Wisdom Practical Guide. 3 gentle steps: connect, cleanse, and integrate. 1. Connect. Choose one coin you like. Sit comfortably, rest it on your palm, and lightly cover it with your other hand. Take 3 slow breaths. Notice the weight, the cool edge, the texture. Let one clear sentence rise, something simple you can remember. Let my effort be fairly rewarded.
Keep it humble and real. 2. Refresh. When the coin feels flat, refresh it gently. Morning light. Place it where sunlight touches it for 10 to 15 minutes. Or sound. Ring a small bell or let a wind chime sing once or twice. You're not scrubbing history. You're quieting the noise so your focus returns. Avoid chemicals or heavy cleaning. The patina is part of the story. 3. Integrate. Give the coin a visible home where you already show up, beside your notebook, near your morning tea, or on the corner of your desk. Each time you notice it, do one small right direction action. Reply clearly, pay on time, say thank you, price your work fairly. Try this for 3 mornings and note any shifts in mood, choices, or the balance between effort and reward. If this felt good, subscribe to Heart Wisdom, share what you noticed after day 3, and pass a quiet blessing forward.